Welcome to Leadership Hall, where we learn leadership, think leadership, talk leadership, and effecting a positive change in leadership for kingdom and global impact. We encourage you to like, comment, share, and subscribe to this YouTube channel as we welcome our resource person.
Hello, friends and followers of this platform. You're welcome to Leadership Box, your special show on this platform. So in today's episode of Leadership Box, we'll be looking at what is leadership. We know leadership comes from the word lead, which has to do with to direct, to govern, to dominate, to take charge. We talk about to organize or to control. That is the fundamental or the basic concept of leadership that we all know. But we'll be looking at leadership from the context of ability. I want to say that you can lead anywhere with the abilities that God has put in you. We are saying here that leadership is the ability to model, to inspire, to influence, to persuade people to think and act in a particular way. It is John C. Maxwell who says leadership is all about influence. And we are defining leadership here as the ability. It could be a natural or God-given ability to model, to inspire, to influence people to think and to act in a particular way. So once you're a leader, you must have that God-given capacity, that God-given potential in the inside of you to model. It means what you want people to do, you have to model it. And that's one of the best way of influencing people, acting what you want people to do or do what you want the people to be doing. You don't just tell people, go this way. You yourself, you are going that way. You don't just tell people to succeed. You yourself, you are succeeding. So you have to model, and your inspiration comes from who you are. And the strength of a leader lies with his ability to model what he wants the people to become. That's why we say leadership is the ability to model, to inspire. Talk about inspiring, it has to do with motivating, it has to do with encouraging, it has to do with persuading people and influencing people to think and to act in a particular way. And of course, it should be the right way. And there is no other way which is right than God's way. And that's why in Leadership Box, we'll keep emphasizing the God kind of leadership, kingdom leadership. And we want to say that God wants people into leadership, and God wants people to act in a particular way. Leadership is very important to God. Leadership is very important to the world. Leadership is very important in your own life, in your family, in your community, in your church, in your organization. And everybody is a leader, and you can lead wherever you are. You know, great leaders don't need positions or titles in order to lead. Great leaders need a disposition of heart to influence people, to inspire people, to serve people. So we are saying that leadership is the ability to model, inspire, and influence people to think and act in a particular way, the right way, and God's way, of course. And leadership is a dynamic process in which a man or a woman with God-given capacity influences a specific group of people towards God's purpose for that group. So God has a purpose for a group, and God has given you, the leader, a capacity to influence those people towards that purpose. You're a leader of a nation. You're a leader of a city. You're a leader of an organization. You're a leader of a group of people. You're a leader of a family. You're a leader of a church. God has given you a specific capacity to influence those people towards a specific purpose, God's purpose. That's why there is no leader who can truly succeed without understanding God's purpose for the people he's influencing or is leading, without you understanding God's purpose for your nation, without you understanding God's purpose for your community. And I borrowed this concept from Dr. Robert Clinton in his writing, The Making of a Leader. And we want to also say that men always need an external influence to inspire them to a new level. Every human being wants or needs an influence in order to change his level, in order to move to a better level, a better dimension of life, a better dimension of business, a better dimension of their work with God, a better dimension of their output. So they need an external influence. And God has placed you wherever you are as a leader in order to exert a positive influence. You know, the law of Newton applies to humanity and to systems, that everything will continually be in the same state where it is unless an external force is applied on it. There are some people in life that will stay where they are until a leader influences them to move to another level. There are systems, there are organizations that will stay in the same state. There are nations, there are communities that will remain the way they are. Nothing good can happen to it until the leader in you rises up to provide leadership. And our desire is that you become a leader wherever you are to influence and inspire a positive change. We are saying that leadership is the ability to identify, develop, and mobilize potentials and resources to achieve a common goal. This has to do with organizational leadership, or when it has to do with groups of persons, that as a leader, you must have that ability to identify uh, potentials, to develop potentials, and mobilize those potentials and the resources that you have to achieve a common goal. And when it comes to resources, we talk about human resources, we talk about financial resources, we talk about uh, non-physical resources like ideas and skills and all of that. You as a leader, it is your responsibility to identify the different potentials that you have in your nation, in your group, in your church, in your organization, in the family. As a mother, as a father, your children have different potentials in them that if you identify and you know how to harness, you know how to bring those potentials together and put them in the right places, the exploits and the impact of the family will be far reaching. So leadership's ability to identify, develop, and mobilize potentials. In one of the episodes, we'll be talking on how to identify potentials or how to identify potential leaders and whatsoever, as God will be helping us. We want to move forward to say leadership is the ability to provide vision, direction, and the possibility of fulfilling it. Leadership is the ability to provide vision, direction, and the possibility of fulfilling it. Once you are a leader, you must be visionary. So you must be able to provide vision for your people. And as a leader, people don't follow you because of your position. They follow you because of your vision. If people only follow you because of your position, I'm sorry, you're already failing in leadership. You should be able to provide a vision that is compelling, that is inspiring, that is attractive. Your vision should serve as a magnet. It should serve as a magnet. You should be able to pull the people to follow you. Your vision should command followership. So as a leader, you must be able to provide vision. That's why one of the things that you need as a leader is the ability to cast your vision. Because there are some leaders who have vision, but they don't know how to cast their vision. And because they don't know how to cast their vision, they cannot command followership. But we are saying that as a leader, you must know how to provide vision. You must know how to provide direction. You must know the direction you are taking your life to. You must know the direction you are taking the community to. You are taking your family to. You must know the direction you are taking the church to. Don't just be a pastor of the church and when he asks you, Daddy, where are we going to? Or Papa, where are we going to? You can't say. Today you are just jumping left to right, front and back. You don't know where you're taking the people to. Direction is very important. Vision is very important for a leader. It is said, where there is no vision, the people cast off restraint. The people perish. So if you don't want your nation to perish, provide a compelling vision for your nation. You are a president of your nation. What is your vision for that nation? You are a leader of an organization. What is your vision for that organization? Where are you taking that organization to 4 years from now, 5 years from now, 10 years from now, 20 years from now, 50 years from now? It's not just saying some nice things. Oh, your nation will become like this, maybe 2055, 2075, or whatsoever. What is a vision? And you have a vision. Where is the roadmap? Where's the roadmap? What are your strategies? Because those are all the possibilities of accomplishing that vision. We are saying here that a leader should be able to provide vision, direction, and the possibility of fulfilling that vision. So you must be visionary. And because of that, as a leader, you must have the ability to see what others don't see. You must have the ability to hear what others don't hear and to do what others don't do before bringing them into it. So you must be able to see before influencing others to see what you have seen. You must be able to hear ahead of the people before influencing them to hear what you've heard. You must be able to start doing what others are not yet doing before you can influence them to do what you want them to do or what you are doing. So you must have that ability to see what others don't see, hear what others don't hear, do what others don't do, and at times even talk what others don't talk, because you're a leader. A leader is always one step ahead of the people. A leader is always a step ahead of the people. So you should be making some progress, because as a leader, you can't take people to a place you have not been. So providing this vision demands the ability to clearly communicate the vision. That's what we talk about, vision casting. And in one of the episodes, we'll focus just on that, how to cast your vision as a leader and why it's important for you as a leader to cast your vision. And the next thing we want to say here about leadership in context of ability is that it's the ability to provide followership and fellowship. As a leader, you must have that capacity to provide followership. It means people should be able to follow. You know a leader, the strength of a leader at times by the people that can follow him voluntarily, not because of manipulation. Because there are some leaders who can manipulate people to follow them. They can use their power, they can use money, they can use games, they can use tricks to manipulate people to follow. But that's not leadership. If people follow you because of manipulation, you are not a leader. If people follow you because of force, you are not a leader. You are a dictator. If people follow you because of gifts that you use to manipulate them, you are not a leader. People should be able to follow you because of who you are and what you can offer to them. What services, what good can you do to them? How can their lives become better if they have to follow you? And that's why we are moving to our next definition, that it is the ability to take people from where they are to where they ought to be. I borrowed this definition from Bill Hybels of the Willow Creek Association. He said leadership is the ability to take people from where they are to where they ought to be. Not where you think they should be, but where they're supposed to be. So if you're a leader, you are there to move people. You are there to change people's story. You are there to change something about their lives, something about their potentials, something about their careers, something about their families, something about their faith, something about their own personal dreams and visions, from where they are to where they're supposed to be. And in our context, we are talking about where God wants them to be. You're a leader of a nation. You must know where the nation is presently and where God wants that nation to be. Not where you think they should be, where God wants the nation to be. You're a leader of an organization. What is God's purpose for that organization? Where does God want the organization to be 10 years from now? And you are there to move that organization. You are there to move the people from where they are to where they're supposed to be. Just like Moses taking the children of Israel from Egypt, a place of captivity, a place of slavery, a place of forced labor, a place of pain, agony, dissatisfaction, grief, and all of that into the promised land. That's where God wanted his people to be. Jesus Christ, our greatest example of leadership, he came to take us from sin, into the plan of God, into the glory of God, into the purposes of God for our lives. That is leadership, moving the people from where they are to where they're supposed to be. And we are saying that leadership is the ability to create and initiate positive changes and growth. Leadership is the ability to create and initiate positive changes and growth. When God chose you as a leader, when God places you as a leader, wherever you find yourself, God wants you to initiate positive changes. God wants you to create changes. God wants you to bring positive changes, a positive transformation, because leadership is one of the tools that God uses to effect changes wherever he wants to see a change. So you are there for a change. You are in for a change. You cannot be a leader where you are and things remain the same. Things should become better. You are in leadership to make things better for the people, to make that organization better, to make your nation better, to make your community better, to make that church better. You are there in that choir as a choir leader to make the impact of the choir better in a positive direction. You are there to make things better. You are there for growth. Anywhere a leader is, there should be growth. You cannot be a leader and things are not changing positively. Things are not growing. Don't take over leadership in an organization and the organization dies. Don't take over the leadership of your community as an administrator and things are going down. Don't take over leadership over your nation and the nation goes down. Don't take over leadership over that church, over that ministry group in the church, and things goes down. God wants you to create, to initiate positive changes and growth. In fact, every true leader is a growth catalyst. Every true leader is a growth catalyst, is a change catalyst. Become a catalyst for change wherever you find yourself. Remember, we said you don't need position in order to be a leader. You need disposition of heart. And we are saying that leadership is the ability to serve others, to put value and the interest and success of others ahead of your own. God is bringing you into leadership, to serve, not to be served. You are there to serve the people. You are there to serve God's purpose. You are there to add value in that organization, to add value in the lives of people, to add value wherever God has placed you. You should put the interest of the people and the community you are leading above your own personal interest. And leadership should not be taken for granted. It is a privilege, not a right. Leadership is a privilege and not a right. Leadership is a gift and a loan of responsibility. Don't accept leadership positions and leadership roles if you are not ready to take up responsibilities for those people and for that organization. Well, this is where we are going to stop for today's episode. Remember, I am your host. Call me John Niba, and this is Leadership Box. And if you were blessed, why don't you like this post? Why don't you share it? Why don't you drop a comment? Or better still, click the subscribe button to subscribe on this platform. God bless you. We'll be coming up with our next episode on something very important, still on leadership. But what is that one thing you've learned from this episode, and how are you going to implement it? God bless you. You can contact us using the contact also on your screen.
Welcome to Leadership Hall, where we learn leadership, think leadership, thought leadership, and effecting a positive change in leadership for kingdom and global impact. We encourage you to like, comment, share, and subscribe to this YouTube channel.